A few weeks ago I wrote about the fact I'd seen demos at Nvidia's RTX launch event in Germany that showed its RTX 2080 dishing out frame rates twice as fast as the GTX 1080 The catch: the RTX system was identical, apart from two things: the graphics cards, obviously, and also that it was creating each frame using deep learning supersampling or DLSS rather than traditional temporal anti-aliasing (TAA). Nvidia's RTX 2080 TiAntony Leather I received quite a bit of backlash for posting the video of the demo on YouTube too, so imagine my glee when, as the final part of my benchmarking this week, I ran the new Final Fantasy 15 benchmark that includes both TAA and DLSS tests and found that not only does DLSS produce near identical image quality at much higher frame rates than TA, but the RTX 2080 was indeed twice as fast as the GTX 1080. Alright then, it wasn't twice as fast, but 95% quicker, but that's splitting hairs. Screen capture in Final Fantasy 15 DLSS benchmark TiAntony Leather. First, let's talk about the benchmark. Nvidia includes two batch files with the new Final Fantasy 15 benchmark that force it to run at maximum settings and at 4K, at least on a 4K monitor anyway. One batch file uses TAA and the other DLSS, but otherwise, the benchmark is exactly the same as the freely available one I used in my RTX 2080 and RTX 2080 performance reviews. To check Nvidia hadn't fiddled with anything here, I ran the same settings on the RTX 2080 with TAA and the freely available version I downloaded a while back and got within 1 FPS, using fraps, of the new benchmark, essentially within the margin of error, so I'm confident the benchmark is trustworthy. DLSS versus TAA, RTX 2080 versus GTX 1080 TiAntony Leather. So, first up is to test the GTX 1080, which as you can see above got a minimum frame rate of 21 FPS and average frame rate of 27 FPS. Stepping up to the RTX 2080, it managed 28 FPS and 35 FPS, a healthy 33% boost. The next stop is the RTX 2080 in the original Final Fantasy 15 benchmark using the same settings, 1 FPS difference, so all is good there. However, switch to DLSS mode and those frame rates skyrocket to 41 FPS minimum and 48 FPS average. That's a massive 95% faster than the GTX 1080 and 46% faster than using TAA on the same card. Percentage increase in performance over GTX 1080 TiAntony Leather. There's obviously a fairly large gap between the standard benchmark and the new one I obtained, but that's because we're dealing with very low frame rates, so even though there was 1 FPS difference, this still amounted to 5% increase compared to the GTX 1080 in the graph above, so don't read too much into that. The bar in the chart above is the RTX 2080 with DLSS, with its 95% performance boost over the GTX 1080 using TAA. This is a huge deal for Nvidia as it clearly shows that when it can be enabled, DLSS can offer massive improvements with RTX series cards, and if anything, I think this is one of the most impressive features of the RTX series. The downside is that, like ray tracing, it's only supported in around 25 games at the moment, but there's clearly huge promise here. If future game support of DLSS is good, as you can hopefully expect this kind of performance boost in most games. Check out my full reviews of the RTX 2080 and RTX 2080 for more information on their performance and on DLSS.